Good morrow everyone, Silvershire here, and as promised, here's my explanation of all things Tekken in the latest DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're going to begin with his alternate colors, because I made some predictions about these in my last video and I did a pretty good job. I only got one wrong, and it was the one that I admitted was the least likely to actually happen. The maroon pants are simply an alternate color of his from the Tekken series, that originated in Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. The blue pants are probably a reference to his more casual looks, where he's just wearing jeans, but they could also be a nod to his wife, Jun Kazama, or her niece? It's never been made explicitly clear how they're related, Asuka Kazama, who both debuted in blue outfits. And best of all, the black and red pants are the same color scheme used by Kazuya's son, Jin Kazama, who takes the phrase "liar liar pants on fire" a little too seriously. In the Tekken series, Jin has red lightning effects instead of the blue effects used by his father and grandfather, so I'm going to pass it off to future Silvershire to see if that carried over into Smash. Nope, his costume doesn't look like it changes his particle effects. I initially thought that the white suit was based on what Kazuya wore for the intro cinematic to Tekken 6 Bloodline Rebellion, though the red accents actually make it more reminiscent of his 2P from Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. The purple suit, as Masahiro Sakurai points out, is a reference to the tuxedo that he wore in Tekken 2, though that is just one of many, many examples of purple formal wear that Kazuya has donned throughout the series. And lastly, the one that ruined my perfect prediction score is his metallic gold outfit, which is available as DLC in Tekken 7. And now onto the moveset. I'm not going to compare every single attack to its Tekken counterpart because A, others have already done that for me, and B, most of them are so faithful to their home game that there's not really anything to comment on. Obviously the inputs are easier and the animations are faster, but other than that, they're pretty much one-to-one recreations. However, there are some oddities in his moveset that we can discuss. The most obvious difference between Smash Kazuya and Tekken Kazuya is the way the Devil Gene is implemented. In Tekken 7, Kazuya can only transform into Devil when he's low on health, and once he does, he remains in that form until the end of the round, or until he does a manual input to transform back into his human self. In Smash, on the other hand, he briefly transforms as part of his normal animations, and it's not related to his health whatsoever. I think this is smart, because if Kazuya didn't have projectiles or aerial movement, he would be at a severe disadvantage against the rest of the Smash Bros. Roster. But now let's get into specifics. The Wind God Fist is one of Tekken's most iconic moves, and one of few attacks shared by Heihachi's entire bloodline. It is arguably their most powerful tool, and being able to string together multiple Wind God Fists is what separates good Mishima players from, well, me. In Tekken, its ability to juggle opponents makes it an invaluable combo tool, but in Smash, knocking your opponent into the air is the exact opposite of what you want for a combo. So instead, the Smash version stuns the opponent, leaving them vulnerable to follow-ups. This is a genius example of changing a move's properties in order to be faithful to its function. Crouch Dash and Air Inferno were both altered to be given a little more utility in Smash Bros. This version of the Crouch Dash seemingly lets Kazuya duck under projectiles. As you can see, this is not a feature in his home game, but it was present in the crossover game Street Fighter Cross Tekken, or SFXT, and even appeared in the intro cinematic. Air Inferno, meanwhile, was changed into a grab for Smash Bros., presumably to make it easier to land. You see, in Tekken, it simply fires a beam into the air and is only useful if your opponent is already airborne. One of his only moves not taken directly from Tekken 7 is his pummel, and in my opinion it looks a little weird. I mean, it's fine, but I think that repeated headbutts would have made more sense for the character. There are some neat details on Kazuya's stage, the Mishima Dojo. There are two versions of Tekken 7 with two versions of the dojo. The arcade version looks exactly like the Smash version, while the console version has a broken wall that lets in the blue light of the night sky, so you probably know where I'm going with this. Breaking the walls and ceiling make the Smash version resemble the console version that you've been seeing in my gameplay footage throughout the video. Another Easter egg is the one that Sakurai pointed out, this carving on the floor. It depicts an umbrella, with Heihachi's name on one side and Kazumi's name on the other. This is known as an Ayagasa? I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I kinda doubt it, and is a symbol of romance in Japan. It features heavily in Tekken 7, but it first appeared way back in Tekken 2, where it was just an unexplained little stage detail. Next up is music, and if you told me that these tracks were chosen by polling the Tekken community on their favorites, I would believe you, because any fan of the series will tell you that this is an excellent selection. I literally yelled out loud when I heard some of these playing in the trailer. Some notable inclusions are my personal favorite, Snow Castle, the fan favorite from Tekken 5, Moonlit Wilderness, the standout hit from Tekken 6, Karma, and of course, the background music for Kazuya's climactic final showdown with Heihachi, Heat Haze Shadow. And that's just to name a few. There is an excellent variety on this soundtrack. The only things left to talk about now are Kazuya's opponents in his classic mode and spirit battles. So for that, I'm going to hand over the reins to future Silvershire. There's not really anything to say about his classic mode, because instead of standing in for Tekken characters as we thought they might, his opponents are simply those who use their fists. However, the spirit board is another matter entirely. The first spirit battle is against the rivals turned friends Paul and Law. They debuted alongside Kazuya in the very first game, and are some of the strongest humans in the Tekken universe, but they've slowly become joke characters over the course of the series. Following that is the surprisingly uncensored Irish assassin, Nina. She too is a veteran of the first Tekken game, and she now serves as Jin's second-in-command. Like in Tekken 7, she lets some Tekken Force soldiers, represented by Mii Gunners, take you on before she fights you herself. Following that is my main in Tekken 7, the Mexican pro wrestler King, and his mentor, Armor King. These two are actually the second pair of fighters from the Tekken series to take up the Jaguar masks and regal monikers, following the deaths of the first. Next up is the Chinese martial arts prodigy Zhao Yu, who went to school with Jin and has a huge crush on him. She's usually a side character, but she was the star of the non-canon animated movie Tekken Blood Vengeance. She is aided by a Mii standing in for her pet panda. Speaking of which, Panda is also on the spirit board, alongside Heihachi's pet grizzly bear Kuma. They were both taught karate by Heihachi because why not? They have a speed boost, and their spirit allows you to cause damage when you sprint. These are references to their ability to damage opponents by rolling into them in the Tekken games. They are followed by Asuka, who is the newest out of every Tekken character on the spirit board, debuting in Tekken 5. Despite her last name, Asuka has avoided the Mishima Kazama family drama altogether. Asuka shields frequently as a reference to her ability to parry enemies' attacks in Tekken. Next is the cyborg ninja Yoshimitsu, who debuted in Tekken 1. Strangely, unlike every other character, his spirit does not use one of his designs from Tekken 7. Instead, it's based on his appearance from the prior game, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, likely because it's a little less bizarre. Like in Tekken, he loves to taunt and is able to damage his opponent at the cost of his own health. Rounding out the first page of the spirit board is the mechanical marvel Jack 7. This is the latest in a long line of fighting robots developed by Kazuya's tech company, the G Corporation. As Donkey Kong, they spam neutral special as a reference to the Jack's infamous wind-up punch. The penultimate spirit is Kazuya's son, Jin, sporting his redesign from Tekken 7. Jin must be fought twice. The first time he uses no devil powers, but the second time he goes all in. This is because, unlike Kazuya, Jin fights the devil gene and tries not to succumb to the evil within. But of course, he's not always successful. And lastly, the final battle is against none other than the angry old man who started it all, Kazuya's father, Heihachi. When he's low on health, he will immediately get his final smash, which is a reference to the Rage Art system from Tekken 7. Before we end, I need to say a massive thank you for all the support on my last video. At the time of this recording, it's sitting at over 17,000 views and almost 1,000 likes, which is insane, and that alone would be worthy of celebration. But what's even better is that since uploading that video, my subscribers have skyrocketed from 124 to 223. For context, it took me 5 years of hard work to get my first 100 subscribers, so to see my subscriber count double in just a couple weeks is mind-blowing. I don't think this quite counts as going viral, but that's sure what it feels like. I can't thank you enough, and both a channel update and a 200 sub special will be happening shortly. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, I bid thee farewell.